All right, y'all. So this clip right here went pretty viral. Trump and Vance had to go to church as part of the, whatever, the procedure of getting back into the White House for him. And this bishop really sort of called out Trump directly to his face and did it. Hey, it is what it is, but did it with the message of Jesus. Like, hey, show mercy on people. People are scared. Show mercy, because that's what a loving God would do, right? And we'll talk about the fallout in a second, but watch this clip. This is crazy.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they...
Look at J.D. Vance this entire time. Trump is sort of sitting there and taking it, but J.D. Vance, it's like eye rolls and looking at his wife like, you believe this shit? Think about what she's saying. What she's saying is it's some real shit. She's like, hey, gay people, trans people, that like they're Democrats, they're Republicans, they're independents. Think about the immigrants who are not criminals by any stretch of the imagination, just trying to do right by themselves and their families and make a decent life. And, well, okay, I'll let it keep going.
They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
Look at Trump. Look at Trump.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
That's a fact. And in fact, it's deeper than that. If you compare natural-born American citizens to both legal and illegal immigrants, natural-born American citizens commit more crimes. That's just a fact. That's just what the studies show.
They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
So again, look, let's be clear about this. She goes up there and she's just straight up like, here's the message of Jesus Christ. The Lord our God in Christianity. Here's the message. Show mercy to people, show love to people, protect people, take care of people. We were all strangers in this land once. This is basic Christian 101 shit. I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. This is the shit they teach you. Literally basic liberal human values and rights. And in fact, I would argue if you're being more direct and more literal with the message of Jesus, Jesus was like a communist before communism existed. He just was. All the passages, very anti-wealthy, very anti-rich people. Camel has a better chance of getting through an eye of the needle than a rich person getting into heaven. And as kind could be to immigrants, as they called them in the Bible, the sojourners. You're supposed to treat the sojourners like they're family members, right? And so again, this message is if I'm being honest, it is purely religious, this message. Purely religious. Taking the overarching theme of Jesus Christ in the New Testament, in the Bible, and saying, let's actually apply this. Let's apply this. Well, guess what? Guess what? There were a number of Republican Congress people who came out who were like, deport the bishop. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. A number of Republican Congress people were like, deport this bishop. How dare she? Stop and think about that. Think about what evangelical Christianity, right-wing Christianity, think about what that has become in this country, where a basic message of love and acceptance and mercy is that you're supposed to be deported if you want to show people love and mercy like Jesus Christ. I mean, they may as well just switch the Bible out. To all the right-wing evangelical Christians, you might as well just throw out the New Testament and replace it with Mein Kampf, because that's what you really feel. That's what you really believe. Fucking racial hierarchy and hatred and division. Like, that's what you believe in. Just own it. Just own it. Just own it. Yes, if you want to go through the Old Testament in the Bible, for sure. It is vicious. It is dark. It is ugly. There are genocides. There's all sorts of crimes, including sex crimes. And yes, that part is ugly. But in theory, the idea is the New Testament comes along and Jesus' word is the final word. And obviously, Jesus, in most of his moods, 85% of the time, he's all about love and acceptance. And you guys take one look at it and go, I fucking hate it. I want nothing to do with that at all. Okay, then stop fucking calling yourselves Christians. Right? Stop calling yourselves Christians. I believe in Christianity, but also everything in Christianity is incorrect. Do you really believe in it? Do you really fucking believe in it? So, I mean, again, she's embracing the overarching message of the New Testament. And here you have, look at J.D. Vance's face here, this little fucking pudge boy weasel. Look at Trump. Like, that was, by the way, that was brave. What that bishop did was brave. That was like, man, I'm going to go up there and spit fire and tell the truth regardless of who's in the crowd. That's what that was. That's what that was. And by the way, someone made this point the other day. They were like, you know, we've gone way too far in this country when the Catholic Church is out there saying stuff like this. Because the Catholic Church, I mean, let's be honest, it was like a pedophile factory. You know, I mean, the scandals and the amount of money they had to pay out and the amount of diddling of kids. I mean, it was fucking it was up there with Epstein. It was up there with Diddy. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about Epstein, remember, Trump was best friends with Epstein for a decade, according to Epstein, from his own mouth, from his own lips. Now, nobody talks about that on the right. You know, nobody bring up the thing that is, they're all over the Epstein case until, oh, Trump's besties with him. I don't even know who Epstein is, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about. But this was brave. This was brave of her to do this. You know, this is in a room full of people who are probably hostile to the message because it's filled with Republican hacks. It was brave. So anyway, as I pointed out to you guys a million times, in this new era, this is not 2016 Trump. This is Trump with no guardrails. This is Trump unchained. This is, I know there's no consequences for anything I say, for anything I do, right? So now, guess what? I honestly and sincerely don't think in 2016 or 2017 Trump would have done this. Now, he's always been a bit unhinged, but this is next level. So he comes out and says the following, ready? The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left, hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. All right, let me just pause there. Really? You're going to, oh my God, how dare you encroach on the field of politics? You have any idea how many super far-right evangelical Christian churches are out there that do nothing but spew politics 24/7, and you guys don't say a fucking word about taking away their tax-exempt status or cracking down on them or telling them to get out of the field of politics? As long as they're doing your talking points, oh, then it's fine. But when you disagree with me and actually agree with Jesus, oh, that's a problem. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. He keeps saying this. I honestly think that when Trump hears, oh, there's an immigrant who's looking for asylum, I think he thinks that means they left a mental institution, they left a mental asylum and are coming here. I genuinely think that's what he thinks, because he's been saying this for years. that they're sending their mental institutions, they're sending people from mental institutions. No, they're not. That's not a thing. The only thing that was ever close to that was when Cuba emptied their prisons under Fidel Castro and sent the prisons to the U.S. And then what did the Republicans do? They said, we welcome you with open arms because you're leaving communist Cuba and you're right-wingers, and we love right-wingers, even if you're criminals. If you step 1 foot on America, you're welcome. It is unbelievable. God, he's so stupid. They're not coming from jails or mental institutions. Again, he thinks asylum means they came from an insane asylum. Oh my God. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. That's just factually wrong. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. This is pathetic. He's such a fucking man baby. So what did you want? What did you want? Did you want a bishop to get up there and say, you know, I sure would like to see more tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations. I sure think you should let Elon Musk loot the treasury. Like, I think you should build that wall, even though that's the exact opposite of the message in the New Testament. What did you want to see? Or what he really wanted was a more boring service where they say nothing of substance at all. A letter from Mark to the Corinthians. In 7:28, it says, like that, if he would just sat there and took a fucking nap, he'd be happy. But God forbid, you step into a church and you have somebody who sends a message of love and acceptance and mercy. God forbid. God forbid. No. We're against all of those things. We're in favor of vengeance and revenge and retribution and being massive, giant, gaping, colossal assholes. That's what we're in favor of. Okay, well, we know where you stand. We know what you are. We know where you stand. We know what this administration is going to be. We don't, hey, homelessness shot up 18%. 770,000 homeless Americans now. It's actually probably more. That's a conservative number. We know you're not going to do shit about them. We know that. We know you're not going to do shit about homeless people. We know you're not going to do shit about raising wages for regular people. We know you're not going to do shit about medical bills being the number one cause of bankruptcy or 26 million Americans being uninsured. We know you're not going to do shit about any of the actual real issues in this country. The corruption, you just put it on steroids. You signed an executive order which allowed for more corruption on day fucking one. So I like, the thing that always gets to me is, okay, if you guys want your politics to basically be, give the wealthy all the money, do more war, and let's be assholes. If you want that to be your politics, okay. But don't fucking wrap yourself in the Bible and the crucifix and Jesus, right? Just shut the fuck up. Make clear that doesn't impede on your politics at all in the slightest. I wish the happy Christianity would do that, but it doesn't. So anyway, beefing with a bishop. It reminds me, maybe I should take back what I said before, because he probably would have done this in 2017, because what was it, in like 2018 or 2019, he was beefing with the Pope. Remember that? Who beefs with the Pope? Like, who does that? Oh my God. Anyway, it's pathetic. That bishop is very, very brave. I respect the fact. That's probably the first time you heard somebody fucking disagree with him to his face in years. He had it coming. She's 100% right. But of course, what he's going to do is take that message of love and hope and mercy, etc. And I'm going to be more vengeful. Okay. Well, we know who you are and what you are. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.